What if I told you that everything you know about global power is shifting? Right now, trade routes you depended on for decades are being redrawn. Military alliances are cracking. Economic rules are being rewritten in real time. What used to be distant diplomatic affairs are now showing up in your grocery bill, your job prospects, even the news alerts on your phone. Welcome to the new world order of 2025. Messy, dangerous, and more American than you think. Let's start where things are boiling over, between the United States and China. After months of growing tension, President Trump, back in office, launched a sweeping wave of tariffs in early 2025. A 10% blanket tariff on all imports and a staggering 145% specifically targeting Chinese goods. The move was framed as a way to protect American jobs, fight inflation, and reassert economic dominance. But what it did instead was trigger a global trade shockwave. China, as expected, hit back hard. Beijing imposed retaliatory tariffs as high as 125% on U.S. exports, including soybeans, semiconductors, and energy products. Even more dramatically, it restricted the export of rare earth elements, critical materials used in everything from smartphones to electric vehicles to advanced missile systems. The ripple effects? They've reached every corner of the U.S. economy. Tech companies are scrambling for alternative supply chains. Manufacturers are dealing with massive cost hikes. Prices at Walmart, Best Buy, and even Home Depot are creeping up. American consumers are feeling it. A smartphone that used to cost $799 is now $899. An EV battery replacement now runs $2,000 more than last year. The average household, according to Bloomberg, is now paying $3,400 more annually on goods affected by tariffs. And what about inflation? It was supposed to be under control by mid-2025. Now it's spiking again, with March numbers showing a 4.7% annualized jump, double the Fed's target. This economic battle isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a wider global realignment, where every country is choosing sides or trying to stay afloat. Europe, for example, is in a bind. Many EU leaders have privately expressed frustration with America's unpredictable foreign policy and unilateral moves, especially on trade and climate issues. But Europe's not exactly presenting a united front either. While France and Germany push for greater EU autonomy, Eastern European nations like Poland and the Baltic states remain firmly pro-American, mostly because of fear of Russia. That brings us to Ukraine. The war is still grinding on despite repeated rounds of ceasefire talks and international pressure. In early April, the US and Russian delegations met quietly in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to discuss a potential peace framework. It was a controversial move. Ukraine wasn't even present in the room. Critics called it a betrayal. Supporters said it was a necessary evil to stop the bloodshed. Either way, the talks produced no breakthroughs. Moscow still demands that Crimea and the Donbass remain under Russian control. Kyiv won't budge. And Washington, it's walking a tightrope, trying to look strong without sparking a direct confrontation. At home, the American political machine is heating up. Trump's tariffs are popular with his base, but not with Wall Street. The Dow fell 2,300 points after the tariff announcement, and analysts are bracing for more turbulence. Meanwhile, the Biden camp has accused Trump of triggering a global recession and sabotaging U.S. credibility abroad. The IMF and World Bank have both issued warnings that continued escalation could shave 1.5% off global GDP in the next year. Some experts are now using the dreaded R word again, recession. And it's not just about money. Power is also being fought for deep below the surface, literally. The United States has started greenlighting exploratory missions for deep-sea mining in the Pacific, hoping to get ahead in the race for underwater minerals like cobalt, nickel, and rare earths. These are the same materials that power electric vehicles, smartphones, and military tech. But here's the catch. These US-led expeditions are moving forward without international consensus. The International Seabed Authority has warned that the US is flouting long-standing norms and putting fragile ecosystems at risk. Environmental activists are calling it plunder on the ocean floor, but in Washington, it's being sold as energy independence and strategic advantage. In this chaotic reshuffling, one pattern is clear. The post-WWII world order is fading fast. The rules that define global power for decades, free trade, liberal democracy, predictable alliances, are being replaced by raw economic nationalism, aggressive diplomacy, and transactional politics. Washington is no longer the uncontested leader of the free world. It's now one player in a multi-front game that includes not just China and Russia, but rising middle powers like India, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, and Turkey, all asserting their interests without waiting for a green light from the White House. Meanwhile, the average American is caught in the middle of it all. Jobs are at risk, prices are climbing, military deployments are increasing quietly, and political divisions at home are making it harder to forge a coherent foreign policy abroad. What was once global theory is now American reality, and is playing out in real time. Whether it's trade wars, energy battles, undersea conflicts, or diplomatic chess games, every decision being made today is shaping the kind of world Americans will inherit tomorrow. And in 2025, that world is looking less stable, less predictable, and more dangerous than at any time in recent memory. If you want to keep up with how these stories evolve and how they'll impact your life, from the price of gas to the next election, you'll want to stay tuned, subscribe for more insights into global affairs.